Let me check what's happening right now. Do they got any update? Dark Souls, huh? Let's see. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty cute. Oh, this one's good. How about Dark Souls 3? It's the same, Meteor, random stuff. Nothing else, huh? Bloodborne. Bloodborne PC? Maybe not. Maybe not. It's fake. How about Sekiro? Heard they got something new. Let me check the Twitter. Oh wait. Got an update. Let's see. New update, huh? Like what? New clothes? Wait, what is this? Rematches? Wait, what? Rematches against any previously defeated boss that can be accessed through any sculpture's idol. What? What the fuck? It's me. It's almost been a year since I released my last video. But hey ho, I'm back. I'm gonna talk about Elden Ring. Wait, this is not Elden Ring? Yeah, you're right. You are correct. But of course, in the previous video I said, see you guys in Elden Ring. But right now, closest thing that we got from Software is a major update for Sekiro Shall Die Twice. This game has been released like almost a year and a half. It got a lot of praise in the beginning, and of course it got into a lot of controversies due to this game's difficulties and stuff. But right now, in the August, July of 2020, this From Software has released a major patch note about this game. A major gameplay update, of course some new skins, and of course new system update for this game. But we are not gonna talk about this major update, since the only thing that they released is a patch note, and of course some videos, and nothing else. And now it's like the middle of August. The patch update will be roll out in the October of 29th. So we're not gonna talk about this. I'm just gonna talk about Sekiro itself. This video will just be me rambling about this game, from the stories, from the system, from the combat mechanics, and of course the music, sound effects, and other stuff. What's good, what's bad, and what can be done better. And of course I'm not a good critique or anything. I'm just a normal player, but I'm just gonna talk about this in this video, and hopefully you guys might like it. And without further rambling, I'm just gonna put some of my gameplay up of my normal game plus 3 cycle, and we're just gonna roll it. Okay. So Sekiro, a game of the year back in 2019. It's been a long time, is it? It seems like been a long time, but it's it's just previous year, because most of us didn't even enjoy 2020 because due to the pandemic. But fortunately for us, we can just enjoy some games at home, right? This game, it's fun to say the least, but not from a Souls player. For me, I kind of getting used to Souls game, or maybe get used to the system in Soulsborne series, this game is very difficult, or maybe alien to us Souls players, because the mechanics is completely different, the dodge is fucking trash, and basically like it has a lot of things that can, you know, decide the way you fight. But most importantly, the combat system. The combat system is very difficult for us to get used to. You have to block in a certain way to, you know, preserve your stamina, and of course to deplete their stamina so that you can, you know, execute a execution blow to, you know, kill them basically. Even though they have like a pretty high health bar, you can still like take away the whole bar of it if you are able to, you know, increase their stamina and make their posture break. This is what like decides the whole way of the game basically. The dodge is actually trash. It's like from Bloodborne. Even like from Bloodborne, you have some certain of invincibility that you can fight, you can dodge, or maybe even roll away from your opponent. But in Sekiro, not only does there not have any place for you to roll, but it doesn't even have a roll. But instead, you can jump, and you can perform another way to, you know, block your opponent's attack, such as Mii counter. When they use a thrust attack, you can just like press circle or B if you're using Xbox controller for some reason to immediately step on their weapon. That's so that you can, like, you know, block their attack. But this mechanic, as a Souls player, I can like tell you guys, it's really hard for us to get used to. Or maybe it took me way too much time to get used to the whole mechanic. I remember in my first like playthrough, right, I didn't get the whole blocking mechanics until the middle of the game, where I faced Genichiro in the second fight. But once I get used to the whole like blocking mechanics and know how to use certain shinobi tools or maybe prosthetic like weapons, I seem to like get a hang of it. I seem to get, you know, the whole flow of the game. And once you get used to the whole flow of the game, this game became like much fun for us to play. You can just like mess around with different stuff. You can just fight in a different way, so that those opponents, you know, it's basically a toy for you to play. For example, like me, I just like blocking, right? Because blocking is like a rhythm game. If you get the rhythm, you can execute like some, you know, perfect blocks, and so that it's for you. If you know how to block, it's pretty easy basically. If you don't know how to block, it's really hard if you want to play this game without blocking. But of course, some madman did it with a speed run. But this is like another story, right? You can throw shurikens, you can breathe fire, you can use umbrella to block the shots, etc. Basically, and like there are lots of tools for you to make, or there are lots of tools for you to use if you you know, choose to use. Unlike the Souls game, Sekiro offers a lot of way for you to fight. You can fight stealthily, you can go in guns and blazing, you can basically do anything you want. And as a, you know, audience that watches Sekiro, compared to Dark Souls, Sekiro seems to be like more, you know, fun or entertaining to watch, because, you know, it's like a much different like fighting mechanics. Every time the fight might be different. It depends on your opponent. But instead, in Souls games, some might argue that the Souls game is just like hack and slash, right? You chop him one or twice, use some like weapon arts, and then you dodge roll away to wait for your next attack. But this is not true for Sekiro. You can block, you can jump, you can basically grab a hook away from the battle and try to execute a like, you know, air attack, that kind of stuff. Basically, this game, in terms of like the battle system or maybe the gameplay mechanic, it offers a way more variety when compared to Dark Souls. The closest thing that I would compare this game with like Dark Souls in terms of the whole battle mechanics is the power stance in Dark Souls 2. Is that how you even call it? When you have like two same type of weapon, you can use a power stance, and so that you can have like some new moves and new attack that you can use during battle. This game, of course, released in previous year, is a major step forward of the whole design of like battle system, because they add in like a third dimension of like the whole system. You can jump. This is like one of the major breakthrough of their gameplay, because in the previous game, of course, like you can jump in like Demon Souls, Dark Souls 1, 2, 3, and of course in Bloodborne, you can kind of jump right through ledges, through different kind of stuff. But in Sekiro, you can actually jump. Not only you can jump, you can basically fly, and that's what I mean. For a more variety of like battle system. And to conclude right in this section, right, battle system, it's good, it's fun to play. Of course, for a Souls player, it's pretty hard to getting used to, because you're getting used to roll, you're getting used to like block, you're getting used to like parry. But in this game, the only thing that you can do is basically block, or maybe just run away, or maybe jump, even to jump away from attacks. And it offers a lot of ways for you to deal with it, and it offers skills for you to execute those blocking maneuvers. So this game, it's pretty good in terms of the whole battle system. It's fluid, it is challenging, and it is one of the major breakthrough of their games. Of course, we're talking about Souls-like games, right? So it is a major breakthrough in terms of their own mechanics. The second part that I would like to talk about is their story. Of course, From Software, right? They have some pretty good writers. Not counting, of course, Metal Wolf Chaos XD. They have some pretty good writers. It's intriguing, it's interesting, and of course, it's just as From Software fashion, they are pretty hidden, or maybe a secret, if you want to know the whole complete story. But right now, of course, I'm not gonna talk about stories and stuff, because of course there's a lore master on YouTube called Vati. You can just go watch his video, and you might know more about how the whole universe of Sekiro works. But to be honest, Sekiro, in terms of story, right? Of course, I'm Asian. The whole culture of Japan, or maybe the whole background of Japan, it's pretty familiar. But to peoples, or maybe audience from other countries, or maybe other continent, these kind of stories might not be as interesting as they could have thought, because not many of us, or many of you guys, has get in touch with their own culture. But unfortunately or fortunately, there are lots of cultural references, especially myths and of course stories from Japan. It's related to this game. For example, the snake in the forest, or maybe the corrupted monk, or even the big goldfish that you encountered after second half of the game. It's all a reference. It's all a cultural background. If you don't know about it, for us it's very difficult to get into a game. But of course, I'm Asian, right? So it's pretty easy for us to get into the game, because most of the concept, or most of the culture is the same as us. So we can just kind of understand the story. But for Western folks like you guys, probably not. But just getting moving all those stuff away, right? Just getting all those stuff away from the scene. the story of this game, it's pretty intriguing, to say the least. It is like, you know, thought-provoking on like how one might choose in front of like all those big decisions. Should you kill it? Should you basically like, you know, protect your emperor? Should you just like, you know, run away? Should you revenge? That kind of stuff, right? It's like a normal game decision, but it's at the same time, because of the whole background, those decisions that you made in the game, it's very, very important. But of course, this is like only the main story, where you can choose about like, you know, different stuff. But in my opinion, in this game, the NPCs might not be that good. It might not have like much things to say about those NPCs in compared to the previous games. For example, in the previous games, you have a lot of NPCs, right? Solaire, you know, Father Gascoigne. Of course, like you have like the Onion Bro, Sigma or Sigurd in Dark Souls 3, or maybe like, you know, like different smiths in like Dark Souls 2. But in Sekiro, there aren't a lot of like NPCs or actual storylines when you play through it. I hope they can add something new in the future, but of course this is not like, you know, quite possible right now as like the whole thing developed. So you know, it's like one of the like not so good points when we talk about the whole story, or maybe the whole like NPC system. So in conclusion about the stories and NPCs, this game has a pretty good main story. It's straightforward but thought-provoking, and of course it is like interesting and intriguing for us who knows about the culture of Japan, and even for some of us like that doesn't know about anything about the whole Japan culture. So in the story, I think it's a pretty good. I give it a 7 out of 10, of course. The third part is like one of the like, you know, things that I could do better, which is like the whole like art descriptions, or maybe some major reference. They could add more of it, or maybe more description, so that other players can know about like, you know, the culture that they you know, are talking about. And of course, like, you know, the choice of the whole theme, because in Asia, of course, like in Japan, there are a lot of games that are talk about like shinobis and ninjas and even like some samurais, right? Themes of this, there are a lot of them. Like it might be like too much, and even some games doesn't make across the ocean. And it's just like, you know, in Asian, like Asia country, right? You can find a lot of things that are about Japan shinobis, ninjas, and even samurais. So, but of course, like they did a great job of like, you know, picturing the whole fights, or maybe the whole like, you know, inner struggle that happened in Japan during the Roman Kingdom period. Of course, like they did a pretty great job. But one of the like major like, you know, flaws, or maybe like major you know, not so good things that they did in this game, it's the music itself. Of course there are like lots of like mini bosses and lots of like, you know, major areas, but throughout this game there aren't many music when we gonna fight the boss, besides of like some major big ass boss. For example, Demon Patriot, of course there's songs, and the final boss, Genichiro, there's boss, and of course Ishin, there's like a boss music. Your father, Ao, you still like get some like music from it, but besides that, there aren't many like memorable or you know, impactful music that you can get from the game. But the one thing that I would like to you know, emphasis on, there's like some sound effect that they did a pretty great job to you know, make you immerse in the whole experience, which is like, you know, the background music when you get found out, or when you get found out by your enemies. Those like pumping music, picturing like the whole situation, and these are pretty great job. But overall, in terms of in the music department, it can be done better, to say the least. But hey ho, this game is an action game, and they have a pretty good direction, which is like majorly focusing on action. So, music wise, it's alright. It's really good, right? And of course, like there's like a lot of things that I could talk about this game. But one last thing that I would like to talk about is how they roll out this update. Maybe a bit too late. You should be rolling out this update like in the previous games, to be honest, because modes like boss rush, right? You fight a boss one after another, with like standard upgrades and stuff, to see like how far you can get, right? This system like should be a thing in the previous games, such as like in Dark Souls series, in Bloodborne, and even in Demon Souls. Because since those games released, there are already been different mods on these games which enable players to like perform a boss rush, and there is a lot of like boss rush official speedruns on YouTube, or even on like GDC, Games Done Quick, which is the authority of the whole speedrun community. And I mean, like, better late than never, but it might be a bit too late in terms of like the boss rush system. But hey, at least like after a long wait since the first game released back in like 2010, it finally released in Sekiro for some reason. Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad to see that they stepping in the right direction in terms of like talking or maybe communicating with our player base and of course player community, and hopefully in the near future we can get to know more about things in Elden Ring majorly, and of course like the future projects and stuff, because it might be a bit too long since like the previous release of information of like Elden Ring. But in conclusion about this game, in my opinion, this game is one of the like better action games, adventure games in like recent decade. One of the better one, not the best, but of course like definitely had its place in the whole spectrum. But for a Souls game, probably not that good, to be honest. And of course this game is not even in like Souls game, like please ignore that name of like what Sekiro Soulsborne name. This game is not a Souls game. I mean, they have a similar system, but it's like completely different thing. So just see it as a new game and try to experience it just like experience any other game. And of course, have fun and try to understand what the developer want to say. And yeah, this game is really good. This game, it's like I recommend this game like for most of the player to play, or just to try it if you got a chance. It's not even that expensive as well, so might as well, right? Might as well just try it. And at last, there's like something that I want to say to From Software. Where the fuck is Elden Ring, dude? We are waiting. Okay, so yeah, it's about time for me. Like, I'm just not gonna rambling on and on. So yeah, see you guys next time. Probably, maybe a long time later. Yeah, it's like I don't even know what I'm gonna say. So yeah, take care.